We were lucky enough to meet with Tim and Amber from Kandanga Farm to talk about AgVention.
Over the last decade or so, I've been involved in a lot of field days as running a distribution business, and as a younger person attending field days in the family, and it was always a great event to go to something where everyone got together. Over that time though, you see these events become a bit more commercial and a little bit less personal. The innovation seemed to be getting less and less over time. Whereas we were going to field days also in New Zealand, it was all in New Zealand and the States at the same time, and those field days seem to be getting more and more innovation. So I don't know what was happening in Australia, but we just wanted to reinvigorate the spirit of entrepreneurship and the some interesting stuff you see at events, to cut out all the stuff that you see everywhere else and just see the good stuff. So that was really the thing behind AgVention.
And the other thing with field days that I've noticed is there's a complete disconnect with the final product of farming, which is food generally. And so we wanted this field day to be very much about the fact that what we're trying to do is create better food. And so we've got the meet the makers in there, so we've got local food producers who are also doing their own value adding, as well as local food vendors as well. So, and then the dinner afterwards, again, that's all about showcasing local produce, and it's really about connecting the farming activity with the end product, which is food. And I think there's a bit of a disconnect happening in Australia at the moment between food and the way that it's produced, and so if we can really put that front and centre, then I think we're going to be getting back on the right track.
Well, so the first thing we did, the exhibitors we got, we handpicked a lot of them, and we sought out people who have got something that is really innovative, or companies that are known for their innovation, and we rang them and we said, please just bring one thing that's got the potential to change agriculture. Don't turn up with 50 things that you see everywhere else, just turn up with one thing that has got the potential to be a game changer. And I think that's been really well received from the exhibitors we've dealt with, because they're getting a bit tired, I guess, of a lot of things, doing the same old. So let's change it up a bit and just concentrate on the innovative stuff. And it doesn't have to be ag tech. It can be a game changer that's a new way of thinking, or a new system, or a software, or whatever it is. But it has to be able to change agriculture for the better. And we've got to focus on organic and regenerative ag, and all the people we contacted know that, and that's and they were handpicked because of their mutual sort of interest in that sort of field. So we hope there'll be stuff there, we know there'll be stuff there that you'll never see anywhere else in the country, and there's international people coming to it, but there's also a range of speakers that are on all day, and they're the same. They're not speakers you'll see at most conferences you go to. They're the people that are on the edge a little bit, and changing things, and that should be the new norm, and that's what we're trying to show at AgVention.
But we're definitely starting off this year with reducing waste. There won't be plastic bottles of water for sale. We'll have water stations for people to reuse their existing bottles that they bring. We'll be composting any food scraps, and also there's definitely a renewable energies focus. We're not able to power this one with methane, which we were talking about. We had all these ideas, but hopefully in future years we'll be able to do some crazy stuff like that.
It's probably more than sustainable. If we're just sustainable in agriculture or in food production or energy production or anything in the next 50 years, we're stuffed, because you can't stay at this level. We've got to actually be regenerative and use the systems we've got in agriculture, and the tools that we use to produce food should also have a double use in fixing land and fixing the environment at the same time. So it's a regenerative system, not just sustainable. Sustainable is a phrase that just means nothing, because what are you sustaining? You're sustaining something that isn't working now.
And we don't believe that actual agriculture needs to be a compromise to natural environment. Like, agriculture can enhance natural environment.
We're expecting a really mixed bag in terms of attendees. Hopefully the people that have come, it could be people that are time poor, and you go to normal agricultural field days, you don't have time to walk for days on end to try and find those little gems. So we're trying to cut all that out we want people that might not normally be the standard audience of those sort of events. You might only have 4 or 5 hours to spare. Let's come and see stuff in 4 or 5 hours that will change the way you produce your food for the decades to come. We love a cradle to grave type approach, and we'd love to get as many young people there as possible. There's a number of schools coming already, but if you're at university or you're doing ag or you've got an interest in it, or even if you're a younger kid, come and have a bit of a look. It's open, you'll be open after school, and university students in particular, if you're doing ag, you're not going to see this stuff as part of your course. This is the stuff that you're going to see in 10 or 15 years time, so why not come now and get amongst it.
And also the general public, anyone who's got an interest in food, which should be all of us really, because we all eat. So get involved in food production, as in take an interest in how your food is produced, and talk to people who are in industry, and have a vested interest in something that's that important to all of us.
And the average farmer in Australia is late 50s, early 60s. And we'd love to get some of that. I know it's different, and I know it's the first time it's being run, but just come and have a little look. You never know, there might just be one thing in there that you haven't seen before, and it might just change something. And I know everyone's hasn't got time to do things, and especially if it's something a little bit new and a little bit different. But take an hour and just have a quick look, or have a bit of a listen to one of these speakers, and you never know what could come out of it. You find when you go to annual field days that every year it is a bit tired. There's a great field day in Western Queensland called West It's only on every 3 years, maybe every 2 to 3 years is probably a good time if you're a developer. So if you're a development company, every second year there's usually a fair bit of new stuff comes through. Every year sort of pushing it a bit, but we've got to work all that out. But that's a possibility.
And things like really renewable energies and having circular economy and all that type of thing, we can just see that going from strength to strength with the future of AgVention, but very much about keeping food as the focus, not just we'll go down this tech route because we can, but there's got to be a reason, which is quality food production, creating better, stronger decentralised communities in regional areas, helping to build them.
And doing value adding on farm. And there's no reason to stick everything you produce on a truck or a train and send it into a city and get it produced. We need the jobs and the energy, the spare people and the energy are all in real regional areas, and it's a lower cost of production here. Why is it that so much value adding is done in a city? Why can't it be done close to the farm?
I'd love to see that type of push. Definitely. So again, with that very strong focus on keeping food at the forefront, at the end of AgVention, so it stops at 4, we're going to move over to the Kandanga kitchen at the Kandanga Farm store, and that's going to be a sundowner session, which will be drinks and canapes, and then that's really for people just to mingle and network and just relax, and hopefully we'll have general public, we'll have primary producers, we'll have industry people, the whole range of people getting together. And then after that, it's really exciting, a long table dinner using all local produce, and that's Kandanga Kitchen. They're going to be putting that on, featuring our own beef, as well as other local producers of the area. That's a ticketed dinner, so people can buy tickets online. That is a pre-purchase. So we can't wait for that to happen. It's going to be really exciting for the culmination of a great day. And then if people want to make a whole weekend of it, they can actually book at any of the local B&Bs. There's links on the AgVention website. And the next day there's the Mary Valley Farm Trails are happening, and there's several farms of the area opening their door or opening their farm gates, and so you can go and see different farms and how they operate, including Kandanga Farm, which is our farm. And then that's on the Saturday, and then on the Sunday there's actually another long table lunch featuring local produce again, and that's going to be hosted by Dingo Creek Winery, which is in the area as well. So there's heaps of reasons to come to the Mary Valley next weekend from October the 25th. See you then.
We're running this at Kandanga, which is Sunshine Coast. We're 50 kilometres from all along the Sunshine Coast, for an hour and a half from Brisbane. It's not a massive distance to come and have a look and get connected. And the Sunshine Coast area and I suppose Brisbane to a lesser degree is really well known for its interest in food and healthy production, healthy lifestyles and things like that. So It's not a great distance to come and have a bit of a look and get really connected really quickly.